From this configure block page, we can control where a block is displayed using these visibility settings. A block can be configured to only display on certain content types, pages, and for specific user roles. If you add a block into a region and do not touch these visibility settings, then the block will always be displayed in the selected region. But if you only want a block to appear for users with a specific role or only on some pages, then you'll need to configure the block visibility settings. Let's start things off by looking at the content types condition. If you want a block to only appear on specific content types, then use this condition. If we check article, then the block will only appear on article pages. If we select both article and basic page, then it'll appear on both articles and basic pages. Let's test this out on the Powered by Drupal block, which we added to the sidebar. We'll check article and basic page, then click on Save Block. Now, before we can test this block, we'll need to create an article and a basic page. Click on Content in the toolbar, and then click on Add Content, and I'll quickly create an article and basic page. Now that we have created the two pieces of content, let's go to the home page. And you'll notice that we cannot see the block on the home page because remember, it is only displayed now on articles and basic pages. If we click on the contact link in the footer, we cannot see the block. If we click on the My Account link in the top right, we cannot see it. But if we go to the home page and then click on the article that we created, now we can see the block in the sidebar. If we go to Content and then About Us, which is the basic page, again, we can see the block in the sidebar. Now let's go back to the Configure block page. To do that, I can click on the pencil icon and then click on Configure block. And we'll uncheck the content types. And let's have this block only appear on the contact page, which is /contact. To do this, click on Pages and then add /contact into the first line. If you want to add extra pages, you can just add them to the next line. Now, another thing you can do is configure these radio buttons. The first radio button, which is Show for the listed pages, this means it'll only show the block on the listed pages above and nowhere else. If you select Hide for the listed pages, it'll hide the block from the listed pages above, but show it everywhere else. We'll select Show for the listed pages because we only want it to appear on the contact page. So make sure you've added /contact into the pages text area, then scroll down and click on Save Block. Now that we've been redirected back to the About Us page, you can see that the block is no longer visible. But if we click on the contact link in the footer, we should see the block and you can see it in the sidebar region. Another thing you can do with the pages condition is set wildcard paths. Let's go back and configure the block. And let's change the pages condition so that the block only appears if the path starts with /user/. Click on Pages and let's remove /contact and then enter in /user/**. This means that this block will appear on pages which start with /user/. Let's save the block. And straight away, you can see that the block is no longer visible on the contact page. However, if we click on My Account in the top right, the block is now visible because the path up the top starts with /user/. If I open up a private window and go to the site, this means that I won't be logged in. And if I click on the login link in the top right, you can see the block in the sidebar because the path starts with /user/. And also if I click on Create New Account, we can see the block as well. And also if we click on the Reset Your Password, we can see the block as well because all of these pages start with /user/. All right, let's close this browser. The last thing I want to show you in regards to the pages condition is how to display a block on the home page. Let's go and configure the block again. Then click on Pages. And if you want this block to appear on the home page, all you need to do is add in this special path. And this special path tells Drupal to display it on the front page. If we click on Save Block, notice how the block now is no longer visible on this page. But if we click on Home, which will take us to the front page, we can now see the block in the sidebar region. Now let's look at how to display a block for specific roles. Let's configure the block one more time. And then click on Pages and let's remove these options. Then click on Roles. From here, we can specify which role a user needs in order to view a block. One thing to be aware of is that anonymous user is a hard-coded role given to users which are not logged in. And the authenticated user role is another hard-coded role which is given to logged in users. Even if you have the administrator role or some other custom role, you will still have the authenticated user role. So if you want this block to only appear for non-logged in users, then select anonymous user. If you want the block to only appear for logged in users, then select authenticated user. And if you want a specific role to only see the block, well then select that specific role. And if no roles are selected, like in this example, then the block will be displayed to everyone. Let's now select anonymous user. And this means the block will only appear for non-logged in users. Click on Save Block. Straight away you can see that the block is no longer visible because I am logged in. But if I open up a private browser and go to the website, now the block is visible because I am not logged in. Let's close this browser. And let's go back to the configure block page, but because the block is no longer visible, we need to go back to the block layout page. Click on Structure, then Block Layout, and scroll all the way down to Sidebar first, and then click on Configure. So these are the 3 visibility conditions that come with Drupal core. Of course, you can install third-party modules which give you extra conditions, but these are the ones that come when you install Drupal using the standard installation profile. Now let's discuss using multiple conditions at the same time, because this is where things get a little tricky. If you add multiple conditions, just be aware that they all need to return true for the block to appear. If, for example, you want this block to only appear on articles and the user shouldn't be logged in, then this block will only be visible to non-logged in users on article pages. Both of these conditions, roles and content types, need to return true. So just be aware of that. Things also get a little tricky when you mix content types and pages. Let's uncheck anonymous user, but let's say you select article from content types, and then in pages, you add in /user/ and then you add an asterisk at the end. In this example, the block will only appear on an article if the path of the article starts with /user/. Remember, both conditions need to return true. The content type needs to be an article, and the path for that article needs to start with /user/.